What's up, everyone? What's up? Welcome back. If you're new to the channel, I go by Zombie. I'm very passionate about self improvement. What's up, everyone? What's up? Welcome back. If you're new to the channel, I go by Zombie. I'm very passionate about spirituality, specifically astrology, excuse me. And one of my main goals of this channel is just to be able to show people how self improvement and spirituality really do go hand in hand. And so, if you're interested in any of that, hit the subscribe for me. And without further ado, let's jump right in. So in this series, I've been running through the placements, right, that you would find in your birth chart. And so I'm going to leave a link down below so you can go, and pull up your own chart. If you do have your birth time, because you do need the time that you were born in order to have a chart drawn up for you. But I'm going to leave a link down below for a website that you can put that information into if you do have it, and it'll create your chart for you. And so you'll be able to see, all your everything. So in this video, I'm talking about your sun sign, of course, obviously, as you can see. In astrology, your sun sign represents your ego, meaning the kind of person you view yourself to be, as well as the way you would like others to be, as well as the way you would like to be seen, are heavily dependent upon the position of the sun when you were born. So what does that mean? Basically, if you think about your ego, your self-identity, the way you view yourself, that's all it is really referring to. Here at the correlations, as you can see, let's just say you are a Aries, right? An Aries sun. You might see yourself as a very tough, as a very stand on business type of person. However, we all have emotional sides. So as an Aries sun, you might find yourself in a lot of situations where you might not address how you actually feel, or you might just, keep it pushing, so to speak, just because that might just be easier for you instead of trying to focus on all of that. Because as again with Aries energy, they like to keep it pushing, right? They like to keep it moving. They're ruled by Mars. Mars is a very active planet. Mars likes to stay on the go. Mars doesn't like to really be held up for any type of reason. Okay, and so that is just a simple interpretation of the energy. Likewise, let's say you were a Gemini sign. Again, okay, as a Gemini, especially as an air sign, especially a Gemini being ruled by Mercury, you would, that being your sun sign, right, your ego, right, your sense of self, you would see yourself as a very smart person, right, like naturally, like, a very intelligent person. You would want other people to see you as a very smart person. The only problem with that type of situation is if you don't actually have experience, or you don't actually know, you're gonna come off arrogant. Sometimes if you want people to just see you as like this super smart person. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not to say like they aren't. Of course, if you watch my Gemini videos, like Geminis again can be very intelligent, but that's just basically an example, right, of how the energy manifests itself. So with that, you would probably find yourself doing things to prove that, right? Because eventually, you have to prove these things, right, in life. So again, like, let's just say that Gemini, right? You might find yourself learning a bunch of new things, like doing a bunch of things, not necessarily for, well, again, I don't even want to say not necessarily. It really just depends on where you're at, right? Your mindset, your frequency, so to speak, as a person, right? You could be operating like out of super ego, and you're doing all this just because you want people to see you as whatever. Or you could be operating out of love, right, out of self, so to speak, right? And you're doing this because this is just who you are, right? And so you're gonna do it either way, right? Let's get that out of the way to an extent. You're gonna do it either way, but it's just your intention, right? And your sun sign says a lot about your intentions, most definitely. But again, there's positive and negatives to everything. So you could definitely be more on that egocentric side, or it's kind of, more bad than good. But at the same time, that's who you are. So you kind of just have to learn to accept the flaws that come with that. So you can be that to a greater capacity, right? And for, again, it's all about intention, right? You want to do whatever you're doing, you want to do it for the right reasons. So I don't, not to rant, not to get too far off topic, but I hope you kind of understand, the function here of the energy. And so again, the sun also the sun also corresponds to your physical appearance a little bit, you know. Like I said, with your rising sign, going back to the Taurus example, you might have like broader shoulders or something like that. And the sun again also plays a role in that, and basically the same way. Just, you know, if you were, let's say you were a Taurus sun but your rising was like uh let's say your rising was like Virgo or something like that, or your rising was like, yeah, let's just go with Virgo or something like that, right? So, of course, on the outward appearance sign, you could have some Virgo traits, like maybe like smaller eyes or something like that, but you still might have, you know, broader shoulders and things of that nature, and or a softer voice because of that Taurus sun energy, you know. And the way the energy manifests itself is kind of like, it's kind of all, you know, mixed up, and it's interesting, you know, with this whole like human psyche thing, because everything really is kind of intertwined, and you have to learn to like see, you know, what's what really, and be able to distinguish the difference between the energies, honestly. But a lot of things are very closely intertwined. So the sun, you know, most definitely is more so how you express yourself more than anything else, I would say. um Going back to the Aries example, Mars is also corresponds to sports, most definitely. You know, Aries and like fire signs in general, but especially like Aries and Scorpios too, because they're ruled by Mars, can be very athletic, can be very interested in sports. You know, you might be like a football player, basketball player, baseball, something like that, right? Could be very interested in sports. And so because of like that, the fact that you are right so athletic, the fact that you are so focused on it, is because your sun sign is right in Aries, or you're a fire sign or whatever, you know what I'm saying, just for the sake of the Aries example. Or let's just say the military appeals to you as an Aries. Well, that's because Mars also corresponds to like war, and Mars is seen as the planet of aggression. So naturally, if you're an Aries, you know, going to the military might be something that appeals to you, right? That's something that energy would be comfortable doing, basically, right? So if you think about how with magnets, you know, and well, if you think about it in a magnetic sense, how things attract, right, that the energy's attracted to that, you get what I'm saying? Because that's more or less, I don't want to say what it's for, but you could excel in that, basically, for lack of a better way to put it off the top of my head right now. So yeah, how you express yourself, right, how you want to be seen. Your sun sign is also, the energy is more it's more prominent in day charts, and you know, during the day, just in general, right? During the day, your sun sign is definitely more evident, versus during the night, you might be more so in your moon sign energy and your more relaxed, chill side. The whole day chart concept, so basically it's pretty self-explanatory. If you're born during the day, you know, it's a day chart. If you're born during the night, it's a night chart. And how you can determine that is if you look at your chart and your sun's on the top half of your chart, and it's a day chart, you're born during the day. If it's located on the bottom half, then that would be a night chart. And so basically with day charts, the energy of your sun sign is more prominent, you know, just whether it's day or night, of course, but it's more prominent. If you were born at night, the energy of your moon sign might be more noticeable, right? Or, you know, when you look into that, or if you hear me, you know, talking about it, that might go off in your head more like, oh, okay, I relate more to that. And that might be because, you know, again, you were born at night, you have a nighttime chart. So moving right along, because I don't want to make this video too long. In the last video, I had Jung's map of the mind, or map of the soul, one of the two. And this is the same diagram right here. I just wanted to briefly go over how, like I said, with your rising sign, it kind of refers to your persona if you look at it from a psychology perspective. However, with your sun sign, is more so referring to your ego, right? Yeah. It's more so referring to your ego and also yourself. Okay, so remember when I was talking about it like on like a, you know, a higher versus lower frequency, you know, if I'm a Taurus, right, or if I'm a Libra, right, because they're both ruled by Venus, right, so they both express love naturally, right, they kind of naturally understand that to a degree, right? So if I'm Libra, Now, right? Okay, excuse me. Let's say I'm a Libra, for example. Let's go. I'm a Libra, but I mean I'm not a Libra. Like let's just say I am, for example purposes. So if you're operating more so out of ego, right? Let's say your lower chakras, right? Technically is what it really is. If you're operating more so out of ego, as a Libra, you might use your natural understanding of love and getting people to reciprocate certain things for you, and that really persuasion to a degree, but you might use that to manipulate, right? Or to, because Libras do like to have like a lot of like lovers. I don't want to say lovers, but if you know a Libra and they are single, even if they're in a relationship, their chances are they're dealing with a few people. It's usually definitely more than one, and so they can't have like a player vibe to them. But again, you could definitely use that against people in a negative way if you're operating on some egotistical shit. And it's like especially with Libra energy, again, they're both ruled by Venus, but Libra's more so the personification of like the relationship side of love versus like the self-esteem personal side of how I view myself side of love. Libra's more that me and you love, like interpersonal relationship type of love. And so especially with the females, they can naturally want a relationship, and if they are really interested in you, they can push your boundaries to an extent to where it's like, okay, I kind of like you, but it's like you're doing a lot. If you get what I'm saying, it's like you're trying to force me to be with you. And I would say that's definitely more so egocentric behavior, because I feel like behind that, there could be a lot of, her feeling like that she's just perfect either way. So there's no way you couldn't want her. So she's going to go ahead, and you get what I'm saying? It's like, chill out, because you have to, it's again, that's a mutual understanding type of thing, mutual agreement type of thing. Like even if I do like I have to come to that decision on my own terms. And so that's just an example using the Libra energy. Now I say again, it can go both ways, because like the ego, I would say the sun also refers to yourself. Again, it's your soul, right? In a sense, who you are at heart, who you are at your core. So on that higher frequency, that same Libra could use that love, in a very beneficial way, especially, as an air sign, being naturally very socially adept, using that to bring people together, to spread a positive message, excuse me. Libras can be very diplomatic, so they can excel in like the business realm as well. And so doing something more positive, right? It's just like your intent, basically. That's, and in my opinion, the only thing that separates the whole ego and the self concept is just your intent, right? Getting away from doing things out of selfish intent, most definitely. But that was my video on the sun. Again, I'm gonna leave a link down below so you can go and pull up your own chart. You will need your time of birth, but if you have that information, I encourage you to go ahead and do that and to start your journey of self-discovery. But with that, again, hit that subscribe, hit that like for me if you found this informative, maybe even entertaining in the slightest way. And I'm gonna catch y'all on the flip. I'm out. All right. That was good. That was really good.